Another point about being on an island by yourself, you're most likely not going to get love in a lot of rooms out loud. And the reason being, and this also is going to go into my fourth point, is a lot of people are followers, right? See, a lot of people in our communities, they're so focused on celebrities, as I said earlier, followers, viewership, money, and all these things, where to the point, what looks cool to people in certain moments, they're just going to run with it. Like, you can be the dopest person in a room as a person that's on an island by yourself, as someone that's multifaceted, but you're not going to get love in a room where there's a lot of followers, because followers are just going to find that one particular thing that they want to follow, or those few particular things, and they're going to run with it. You might have on, somebody over here may love clothes, or they may love, a certain job title. And based on them just knowing those two aspects, they're going to follow you now. Why? Because that's the only thing that they came into the room for. That's the only reason that they signed their name on that sheet of paper to go to that workshop or to that conference, is because of those two things. Versus them saying, you know what, I'm interested in this particular person's background because of this title, but I really want to get to know them as a person. Based on certain aspects of myself, I do see similarities, but I want to get to know them further. I'm not going to put them on the pedestal just because of what they've been able to accomplish, or because of what the type of energy the room is giving to them, but I want to be able to see it from my own perspective. See, when you think about it from that light, that's where you're going to be on an island by yourself, because you're now going into a situation thinking about, how can I get to know, or how can I see things based on hearing people out and them sharing their perspectives versus what's on paper, versus on what everybody else has came into this room for. It's also like going to an event. You might go to an event and you're like, based on this, it ain't really hitting like that, so it's about time to go. Some people are going to stay because they're like, oh, well, I might as well stay. It's going to look good for me to stay. It's all about the appearance. It's all about how other people see them. But when you truly know yourself and you know what's for you, what's not, you're going to know when it's time to leave. Yeah, there might be a once-in-a-lifetime chance where something comes along for staying longer that made sense for everybody to be in that room at that time. But most likely, if it's something to where you were trying to up yourself, you're trying to strive to be better in particular environments, you're going to know like how you're feeling in particular realms. And so when it comes to, for myself and who I am and the person that I strive to be, listen, I've had moments where I've tried to do things that the crowd was doing. I had limited, what I would say over here, because people would tell me that's not the right thing to say. If I'm talking to some friends when I'm younger, asking about, how should I approach this girl, and say, oh, DeMarcus, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't text with emojis because, girls no. And there's so many different realms I can go into. I know I'm kind of scatterbrained, but what I'm saying is that when you are someone that is not afraid to put yourself out there and be who you are, a lot of people that are, they're going to steer you away from doing things that feel natural to you, because they wouldn't do it, and because they've heard so much outside noise that they're afraid to give it a try. There's so many times where I've had people in my life, if it was, trying to holler at a girl, right? And I told them about the way in which I go about it. Oh, DeMarcus, you shouldn't do that. Or, that's, no, you can't do it that way. Or if it's about something, an idea or whatever I had I want to bring to fruition, I don't think that's going to work. And for me, a lot of my life has been trying to figure out over time how I can actually make those things work, because somebody telling me that it's not going to work from their perspective doesn't add up to me, because I know I've been a person that's been able to make things happen when people said that it couldn't happen. So when you're a person that follows, and when you're trying to go in rooms and you're trying to get a certain type of love, you most likely won't get it, because a lot of people in the room wish they had what you have. See, they want that confidence. They want to have that self-esteem. They want, even when you have keloids or whatever that's going on your skin, and you can walk into a room and you're not really worried about people are saying, they want that, because they're finding that little flaw that people can't even see that they feel embarrassed about. But you're someone that walks into that room, you're someone that feels confident, you're someone that no matter what, you're going to continue being you, because you realize that this person in the moment isn't the person I'm going to be for forever. These things that I'm working on, like, I'm going to get to that point to where things are going to be looking great, but I got to appreciate who I am in this moment. And so when you continue to follow those crowds, you continue to maneuver in spaces to just try to get validation from outside sources, you're never going to win. So my last point is, you may not have a best friend, ride or die, road dog, but you may have different people in your life that are able to bring different perspectives that can pretty much form into that one individual. And I'm someone that feels like that, right? Like, when I think about, I'm blessed to say I have some really close friends, men and women in my life. And the dopest thing for me is I'm able to get perspectives and get different personalities from each of these individuals that can form into that one person that I may need. And I would say the closest person probably for me is going to be my dad, just because we have that father-son relationship and we both are very similar in how we move. And even from my mom, like me and her are very, very similar as well. I just feel like that when you have that father-son relationship, but sometimes even that mother-daughter, there's just things that my dad can understand that my mom may not be able to, but that is not taken away from who she is in my life. Like, she's an amazing person and a lot of intelligence. Actually, my hard working capabilities and my go-getter mentality, I really feel like I get from my mother for sure. When we're talking about like best friends and things like that, it's always been a tough thing for me to think about in my life. And I feel like a lot of times in society, we focus on that so much, but we have to realize that back in the day, community was formed from multiple people in your life, right? Like, even now, like, so many people can put a lot of weight on their spouses to be able to fulfill these certain type of voids in their life. But back in the day, if a husband and wife were going to work, they may have someone in their community, a grandmother or grandfather, to be able to watch the kids. You know, on Sundays, they may be able to get there early while they're upstairs in church, because downstairs they have someone that's going through Sunday school for the kids. But nowadays, we have to where so many people are reliant on one individual. And I would say specifically men, because as a man, I see a lot of times for guys that guys don't want to open up and they don't want to be able to do things without having to have women involved because they depend on women for so many different types of things. And to the point to even when we're talking about having emotional intelligence and being open to hearing other men, a lot of men won't do that because they'll only go to the women in their lives because they feel as if women are the only ones that can uphold a emotional space. But that's false. Like, as men, we have to be able to have times where we're expressing our emotions, because if not, like, you'll feel corrupt. Like, you'll feel as if the world is just slamming down on you. And so for me, I know I kind of went a little sidetracked with that, but I feel that all the people in my life kind of give me their own piece to be able to help me form who I am. And that's okay that I don't feel like I have, or have felt that I have like a best friend that understands me to the T, that can finish my sentences, that can like, we're so similar to where we relate on every single thing. I have a very close friend where it's like we have a lot of things like we're right there on, but in the ways we move, we're going to be different, right? And so I just feel that there's nothing wrong with saying it in that way. And I don't even want to have to rely on one individual, because at times when I've done that, I've relied on particular individuals to be able to be that main source for me. That's when I would get frustrated, because then at times when I can't get certain answers, or when this person is being judgmental, or they're saying this particular thing, or they're feeling that the best interest for me is over here, and I'm like, that's not how I was going about that. I'm getting frustrated because I'm putting all my energy and eggs into one basket with this particular person, but I'm doing them a disservice because my mind is in different areas. So how can I just put that on one individual person? So as a person that's on an island by yourself, don't look at it as I got to have this one person that's supposed to be able to truly fulfill everything that I need. Utilize different people in your lives for that, and help them to understand that that's how life moves as well. Because sometimes people in your life will feel as if you should be the only person that they go to, but they may not be able to fulfill every single cup that you need filled. So you got to be able to understand, again, your value and what you need, because a lot of times people will feel that they're serving this particular space in your life when they're really not. And it's up to you to be able to differentiate your relationships, your friendships, or whatever with people, to make sure that your cup isn't getting overfilled, that you're, filling at capacity with all these emotions, with all these different opinions or whatever. Like, you've got to be able to differentiate those things. So I'll do another video on this, in the months to come. to be able to kind of give like more real life examples with this. But hopefully I've actually done this video multiple times, just trying to be able to get my words and stuff out correctly and being able to hopefully find some words that can help some of you that may be going through this. But I definitely want to come back to this. I may even do like some podcast episodes just kind of talking about this more in depth. But I think these are conversations that are truly needed to be had, because a lot of us can feel this way, and we can feel as if sometimes support and things may lack, but that doesn't mean that we're down bad. Like, we just have a different, unique way of thinking, and we move in a way that's different from a lot of people. And that's what makes us unique and what makes our multifacets so much more special. So